Hi everyone, my name is Christian Laurian and I'm the author of DAHLIA. I wanted to talk a little bit about the process of writing the book, some major themes, and what you can expect before you enter her world. So let's get into things. The idea for DAHLIA came to me one night when I was walking by the ocean. It was very late, dark, raining, typical Vancouver vibes, and I came across this engraving on a wooden dock that said, "What you seek is seeking you." And as I was kind of looking out the ocean, thinking about that quote and listening to my music, I suddenly had this very clear image of this man and this woman. And I knew right away that their names were Jack and Dahlia, that they were newlyweds, and that something happens to them one day that changes the course of their lives forever. And the next morning, I wrote up a very rough story outline, and then for the next 9 months, every day, I'd write an hour or two on the book. And by the end of it, I had a first draft. And then after that, year and a half of finding a publisher, further edits, formatting, cover design, copyrights, the whole shebang. And now we have DAHLIA. So the painting on the cover is by a Spanish artist named Miguel Carbajal Selva. I found it on Pinterest one morning, if you can believe, with zero description, zero caption, nothing. And I had to track down the museum that houses the painting in Spain, and I'm so grateful that they let me use it. So this is a real person. This is Safai. She lived about 3,000 years ago in Greece, and she was a very beloved, celebrated writer and poet. But you know, this painting also shares the physical description of the main character. This is also DAHLIA. And it really ties in also with the motif and setting of the ocean, and it also mirrors the Fool card archetype from tarot. So lots of different things all packed into one image. The two hearts of DAHLIA are love and anger, and in many ways the book's an exploration of how both can be destructive and healing. I'd say that the novel really takes place in this arena that's beyond good and evil, where a lot of the characters' actions are simultaneously justifiable and condemnable. So on one hand is anger, and the kind of anger that DAHLIA is primarily about stems from living in a world where there's so much injustice around us. And I think a lot of us feel this same kind of anger, where we're seeing things on our phone or in day-to-day life, these really horrible, upsetting things, and it's this anger or this feeling of powerlessness to do nothing about it. We're unable to do anything about it. And on the other hand is love, which I think is the most complex and layered emotion of all, although I'd argue it's closer to a force rather than an emotion. So DAHLIA is really exploring every single angle of what love is in this quest to find true, unconditional love. The book is also an expression of all the love that's contained within me, all the love and heartbreak and joys and highs and lows of love that I've experienced in my little life. And it's also an ode to my love of the natural world. I've also described DAHLIA as a portal to catharsis. So what that means, not just for me as the author, but hopefully for anyone who reads it, is I want this book to not only take you on the ride of your life, but that it allows you to find and discover parts of yourself in this world, both good and bad, that you've hidden or forgotten about. And it allows you to see these things, feel them, and then release them. I mean, putting out any art is kind of vulnerable and a little bit scary. For this particular project, I realized very early on into writing it that it was going to demand an insane level of vulnerability on my part, partially because it's a very personal story. But on the other hand, it's extremely foreign. Like, DAHLIA really belongs to itself. When I was writing it, I really had this sensation that I was like a lens and that I was really shaping it with my viewpoint in history, but the story was really kind of a light shining through me. So it was this co-collaborative thing between me and this other thing. So I guess I'm just a little nervous for anyone who has maybe a specific or rigid image of who I am, because this novel is going to blow that image the up. The best piece of writing advice that I ever got was from Stephen King's memoir. Not from Stephen King himself, but him quoting a different writer named Alfred Bester, who said, "The book is the boss." I think you could apply this to anything, whether you're directing or painting or songwriting, whatever, that the thing that you're creating already exists and that your only job is to bring it into the physical world the best that you can. That's it. It takes the pressure off a little bit that like it's your responsibility to generate the story. It's not. The story already exists and already belongs to itself. Your only job is to listen to what it tells you what it wants to be, trust your instincts, and then let it lead you where it wants to lead you. That's it. No comment. I would love to have one of my other poetry books that I've written be published, and I'm also working on a new novel right now, which is a comedy drama mix. We'll find out when it's done. And as for Dahlia, I would love to see her being read by people across Canada, across the globe, and I would especially love to see her adapted for the big screen very, very soon. Thank you so much for coming to support Dahlia and I. It truly means the world. I hope she takes you on an odyssey that you'll never forget, and that you allow yourself to go places you've never been before. Always remember though, that it's just a story. I love you all very much, and now get ready to experience